Coronavirus. Oh my gosh, enough with the coronavirus. Can we please just stop talking about this? Well, no, not really, because it's an issue we need to deal with right now. This is quite serious. And people are responding to this situation in all sorts of different ways. And I've been listening to some of the people I respect most, particularly in Jewish education, to see what their responses are to these challenging times. And what I've done is I've collated what I think are 5 important responses that we should all try to take on in response to the coronavirus situation. Number 1, take responsibility. This is not a time for panic, but this is a time for taking responsibility. It seems for the vast majority of people, the illness is going to be mild. So this isn't a time for hysteria, but for the elderly and the immunocompromised, this does pose more of a risk. So for those of us who are healthy and well, our primary focus during this time must be to ensure we do whatever we can not to transmit the virus to others. This means practicing social distancing, avoiding big gatherings, and following all government advice. And no, social distancing doesn't just apply to old and ill people. It applies equally if you are young, fit, and healthy, because you might be with someone else who is also young, fit, and healthy. And you may, without knowing it, be carrying the virus, and then you touch them, and they pass it on to someone else who is more vulnerable. So social distancing saves lives. But while we need to social distance, we also need to pull together emotionally, which leads me to number 2, practice kindness. In moments of crisis and challenge, it's very easy and natural to focus on your own needs. And actually in Judaism, we say that taking all necessary precautions to look after yourself is not only necessary, it is moral. To quote the Talmud, if I'm not for myself, who will be for me? But the Talmud goes on to say, but if I'm only for myself, what am I? We need to look after ourselves, of course, but why? In order that we can be of service to others. Looking after yourself is a means to an end. But once you've taken all necessary precautions, it's still very natural in times of challenge to turn inwards, to still only focus on protecting yourself, how you can help yourself. But now is actually the time to turn outwards, to think about the needs of others who have it worse than us. People are more vulnerable right now, and if we're able to, we have the opportunity to bring so much light and goodness to others. And the great irony is that actually, when you turn outwards, this actually calms you a lot more than when you turn inwards. Turning inwards is stressful, you're in constant worry mode. But when you turn outwards, you put the soul into first gear, and in a sense, it sets you free. And for those who underestimate the power of a kind act or a kind word, think about how this virus started. It took just one person in China to do just one simple action, maybe a sneeze, or maybe touching someone, for the entire world to be brought to a halt. All our lives have been touched by one person's action in China a few months ago. And so too can kindness change the world. We often think one smile, one gift, one refraining from getting angry at someone is limited to just affecting the person right in front of us. But think about its knock-on effects. If you smile at someone, you might put them in a better mood, and then that person you smiled at will feel good and make those around them feel better. And then they'll do the same to someone else. And before you know it, within a few hours, you've made hundreds of people feel better. And it's the same with negative energy too. That's also just as contagious. So if someone acts badly towards you in the next few days or weeks, maybe they lose their temper, says something hurtful, before responding instantly, stop and think, why is this person acting like this? They're probably a lot more stressed than usual. Is it going to help things if I match their anger? Will I feel better? Sometimes not responding or even thinking about the other person's plight can allow us to stop taking things personally and stop the spread of negativity in its tracks. It's up to us. Number 3, learn to let go. I'm sure you've been asked regularly, so what do you think's going to happen? What's going to be? I read one article which said this. I saw on the news someone speculated that. But here's the thing, we just don't know. I'm certainly not predicting anything. As human beings, we crave certainty. But life isn't certain. How your life will manifest is not guaranteed. And this was just as true before coronavirus came along, and it will be just as true when it departs. Just like turning inwards at difficult times, we also think endless speculating of what's going to happen will calm us, but actually, it does the opposite. It can drive us crazy with worry. Sometimes we need to learn how to let go. For people who have religious conviction like myself, this is certainly a more rational task, because we believe God is in control. Let go and let God. As the Chofetz Chaim, a great rabbi of the early 20th century, put it, I don't need to know why, I just need to know there is a why. We as Jews don't believe we can know why everything happens in this world, but we do believe you can be confident there is a plan. And sometimes trust in that is enough. But learning how to let go and let God is a life's work. I know I struggle with it. And this attitude doesn't mean life can't get bumpy either. But it does mean we have a loving Father in heaven that is guiding our lives with our very best interests at heart. And that life does not end at the grave either. One of the root causes of so much fear, especially at times of crisis, is fear of death. Some will say this is extreme to say, but I believe it's a worthy task to come to terms with your own mortality, especially if you believe in an afterlife. It can actually be calming because it allows you to put unnecessarily obsessive thoughts of self-protection to one side and instead put front and center the importance of just ensuring that you act decently in this world. It means that you'll be less likely to unnecessarily hoard food, for example. Either we'll have food as a society or we won't. If we run out, which we won't, but if we were to, then well done, you're going to live for 2 weeks longer than everyone else. But you might have lost your humanity along the way. And by the way, when it comes to hoarding, if everyone were to just take what they normally would, there will be enough for everyone. Number 4, the benefits of self-isolating. Self-isolating can't be easy. As of this moment, I haven't had to do it yet, but who knows what's going to be. Many people are complaining of extreme boredom and frustration. But what if there's a positive in self-isolating? We're all constantly running on the treadmill of life that we often lack the time to stop, think, reflect. Before Corona came along, those who recognize this would also sometimes choose to self-isolate from the outside world from time to time, so that they would have the chance to simply step back from their hectic lives and think about the bigger things. Now, believe me, I too struggle with being alone for too long. I feed off other people's energy. But maybe there's an opportunity here to get in touch with our inner selves. It can give us time to jump off the treadmill of everyday life and assess our lives, to ask yourself, what am I really living for? To reach out to loved ones over the phone, to speak to people maybe we haven't spoken to in a while, to spend time learning something that perhaps we couldn't have done before, to try a deeper and longer session of meditation, prayer, and self-reflection that we may never have tried before. I'm not saying any of this is easy. I'm just saying slowing down our hectic 21st century lifestyles for a few days and thinking about the bigger things might just be a good thing. It's remarkable how many people can go through their lives without actually thinking about what they are living for. Surprisingly, often what we pursue in life on a daily basis and what we want people to say about us when we pass on from this world don't match up. Now is the chance to think about how we can align our lifestyle with our values. Now is the time when we can stop pretending our lives are perfect on social media, because now all of our lives are turned upside down, and we can focus instead on what really matters. And finally, number 5, gratitude. These are tough times right now. It's going to be tougher for some people than others, but there are always reasons to be grateful, and changing your perspective to one of gratitude can transform your life, your relationships with others, and your relationship with God. Thankfully, in this age of technology and innovation, we are able to handle this challenge a lot better than we might have done just a few decades ago. Technology will allow us to all stay connected from home, whether it's with family or for work, for most of us. We have access today to running water, heating, and advanced medical technology. Of course, problems exist, but gratitude actually helps you to deal with your problems. In the Jewish morning prayers, we say blessings of gratitude for our eyesight, for having clothing, for things we could easily take for granted but would definitely notice if we lost them. When you sensitize yourself to the blessings you already have, it can transform your experience of life, from one of sorrow and pity to a feeling of joy and feeling blessed. Victim mentality is dangerous, even if you really are a victim, because it makes you feel helpless. Of course, there will be times when you genuinely are a victim and you need to be heard, you need to be listened to. But gratitude creates inner peace, and peace creates inner strength. So that's it. These are the lessons that I've heard other people say and I think are worthy of taking on. I'm going to try to do it as best I can myself. And they are to be responsible, practice kindness, learn to let go, make the most of self-isolating if you have to, and develop gratitude. I'm going to try my best to take this on, but remember, all these 5 points applied just as much before coronavirus hit the world, and they will continue to apply when it leaves. I'm Ollie Annisfeld, and you're watching JTV.
To stay up to date with JTV content, Click subscribe here if you're on YouTube and hit the alarm bell. And if you're on Facebook, hit the like button and under following, click see first. If you enjoy watching JTV content and want to help us continue to grow, please consider making a donation to us by clicking here.